Good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Asiya, where I am your host, Asiya Nasir. And the mission of our show is to educate and empower the women of our communities and the girls that they are raising. This week is actually part two of a series that we've been doing, talking to some amazing young ladies who just embarked on a beautiful journey of becoming authors of their own book, which is something that you really don't hear much about. Typically, when you meet authors, it's like they're adults, like my age, adults when I became an author. But we're doing something extraordinary at Jessica Cares, which for some of you, if this is the first time that you're tuning in and listening to Conversations with Asia. I am also the founder of a nonprofit organization called Jessica Cares, where these young ladies are 5 out of 10 amazing young girls who have co authored a book that is about to be self published coming up in September. So today we're just having a conversation to hear about the beautiful journey that they went through, what inspired them, to write about what they wrote about and to just embark on something as, becoming an author at their ages. So, speaking of ages, as I mentioned before, last week we had 5 of the 10 co authors. And so this week we have the other 5 joining us to share their journey as well. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you to the amazing, young ladies that we have here today. So, we'll start off. Who would like to introduce themselves, providing your name and your age?
You can
Whoever
go.
wants to go first.
You can go,
I'll go
Alicia.
first. Good morning, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Alicia Acosta Spencer. Ooh. But I'm 16 years old, and I'm from Barranquilla, Colombia originally, and I live in New Jersey now.
Wow, welcome, 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 Alicia. I'm so happy to have you. So we have a 16-year-old. Last week we had a 17-year-old, was our oldest one of the group, I believe. But let's continue. Welcome, welcome, Alicia, to the show. Who would like to go? So we'll go down to Atlanta.
My name is Aziza. I am 16 years old and I am born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia.
Welcome. So look at that. Jessica Cares is headquartered in New Jersey. For so some of you are like, well, how are we getting New Jersey and Atlanta in the house? This was actually a hybrid program that we did. So we had face to face as well as virtual, predominantly virtual. So it allowed young ladies who were not living in New Jersey to participate in this program. And by the permission of her parents, Aziza was able to, make the journey to being part of this. Authors Masterclass, allowing her to be one of the 10 authors for the book. So welcome, Aziza. Welcome all the way from Atlanta. So now we're going to take it back to, we're going to actually go to New York. Let's go to New York.
My name is Justina. I am 14 years old and I'm from New York.
All right. We got New York in the house. We got Jersey in the house. We got Atlanta in the house. And last but definitely not least, we have Juliana, who her sister Jessica is also participating in the program. Introduce yourself from Jersey.
Hello, my name is Juliana and I'm from New Jersey.
And how old are you, Juliana?
I'm 17.
Okay, so we have 2 17-year-olds in the group. We got some 16-year-olds. And how old is your sister?
She's 11.
So we have an 11-year-old. So we really spanned from 11 to 17 years old writing some serious, serious content for this book. So for some of you who are not familiar with the book, as you can see on the bottom, the title of the book is Overcoming Letters to a Struggling Soul. And this was an empowerment book. So Jessica Cares, as I mentioned, for some of you who are familiar with what we do, and for some of you that are new, we are an empowerment platform for young girls and women to be able to, build on their self esteem and build on their sense of self worth. And that should manifest itself in their conduct and what they do, their aspirations, and really going after them, with no apologies. So, talking about the Teen Authors Masterclass, the Empower Her Teen Authors Masterclass, the purpose of the whole program was for our young ladies to be able to utilize their voice, but utilize their voice in a positive way, which is something that we really don't see a lot of, especially mainstream social media, some of the reality TV shows. We see that people have a voice, that women have a voice, and sometimes it's just not used for something positive. And we wanted to change that. We wanted to change the trajectory of that and making sure that, you know, we created a platform for young ladies to be able to use their voice and sharing things that you typically don't hear of. So let's get right into it, ladies. We're going to talk about your particular chapters and your contributions to this empowerment book, Overcoming Letters to a Struggling Soul. So I'm really, really excited to get into it. So I'm going to start with Justina. Justina, what made you decide to participate in this program and write about the chapter that you particularly wrote about? And yeah, what inspired you to do that?
What inspired me was my family, especially the topic that I'm talking about, which is plus size.
If you
It
could just
was
speak up just a little bit, Justina, so we
oh,
could all hear you.
it's the people who inspired me is my family. The topic I'm talking about is plus size, so it just resonates with why I'm talking about plus size.
So
And
what inspired you to write specifically? I can't get the words out today. Specifically about plus size women. What was the inspiration behind that?
my mom, my aunts, people around me, my friends, those are like the main people who like made me think, yeah, I should write about this, and like the challenges that I see from day to day.
That's yeah, that's what I wanted to get into. The challenges that you face as plus size. Now, I mentioned plus size women. Is this particularly for plus size women or just plus size individuals?
Plus
Your
size
chapter.
individuals, like I didn't want to just specifically talk to plus size women. I wanted to
Perfect.
be versatile with who I wanted to talk to.
Hmm. So, in utilizing your voice, talking about utilizing your voice, what did you want to lend to the platform as it relates to plus size individuals?
Um, can you repeat the question? I couldn't hear you.
So, like you choosing the topic and being inspired by your mom and even
Hmm.
yourself and the women in your community, and your family and so forth, what was it that you wanted to contribute to that particular topic? Like, what is it that you wanted people to take away from this, and the fact that you wasn't just writing for plus size women?
Hmm. More awareness to the topic because it's not really talked about between like normal conversations between like day to day life. So I wanted to
Hmm.
bring more awareness to the situation and the topic.
Wonderful. I think this is amazing that you girls are, again, utilizing your voice to talk about things that people sometimes think are taboo or they don't even know how to approach the conversation. So, I appreciate you, So, for all of those that are plus size individuals, we got a chapter for you because Justina actually brought that to the forefront. So, I'm really, really excited about, everyone reading and seeing what you wrote about. So, we're going to take it on to Alicia. Alicia, what made you decide to participate in the program Empower Her, the Teenage Authors Masterclass? So that's the first question. And then the second question is, what made you choose the chapter that you particularly wrote about, and what is that about?
Okay, so what made me decide to even do this is I'm a writer. I love to write. I always have. Um, I also love reading books, and so it's always been a goal, a dream of mine to publish my own book. So this
Wow.
has seemed like such a wonderful opportunity to just jumpstart that and do it with other girls too as well. Have a support group. I feel like I could get a lot from this and learn from this, and I have, and I feel definitely a lot more confident in myself and in this process. So I
Mhm.
thank you for that, Asiya, for this opportunity.
You're
Second
welcome.
question is what motivated me to write my chapter and what my chapter is. So my chapter is titled Dear Deep Thinker, and it's all about hyperactive thinking and the overactive mind and overthinking. And I chose this chapter because it's something that I, again, really resonate with. And I feel
Hmm.
like everybody
Me
does.
too.
Everybody does a little bit. Okay, it's not just like a one, you're like one in a million. I think that's another reason why I
Right.
wanted to write my chapter as well. Because us as just humans in general, we get so caught up in our mind and we forget that like there's other humans around us too. Like, everybody's, we don't know, but
Hmm.
everybody's thinking the same things
Right.
or feeling the same things or, we're all over the place sometimes. So I really
Yeah.
wanted to, you know, be transparent with that.
Mm-hmm.
especially at a younger age. I'm a teenager, and I know a lot of teenagers struggle with that too. But I feel
Yes.
like, especially at this time, is when we start to really recognize these thoughts and where sometimes overthinking can really damage us, right? And our image and our sense of self. So I wanted to share my thoughts and opinions and what I do to, like, help with my overthinking. And also, my chapter is not just for teenagers though. So I
Yep.
wanted to target that because of the age group, because I feel like this is where
Yeah.
it can really, left or right, or you can go many places. Um, and that other people, like older people, can also, people older than me at least, can also relate and think about this, and maybe take a step back to the drawing board and really, like, have their own conversations with themselves and discover
Mm-hmm.
things. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that is so true, and I love the fact that you mentioned, and you brought up a great point that you mentioned that although you're a teenager and you're a teenager writing about this particular topic, it's not just teenagers that struggle with it. That's kind of like the starting point of where you can either go left and take your life where it can limit you, or you can make a decision to say, look, I have to manage, my overthinking, and how do I do that? So it's great because as an adult, as I mentioned, a lot of times we go through overthinking, and sometimes it can hinder us from being our best because we're thinking too much about a particular topic or aspiration that we have, and it'll stop us from being our best self. So I love the fact that you're writing to us overthinkers sometimes, adults and teenagers. So these are some amazing topics. We got some comments. We have someone joining us. Miss Rita said, "Way to go, Alicia! So proud of you." And we and we have great conversation from Dustin. And we have your mom actually said yes, overthinking is a problem for everyone. Absolutely. So as you can see, just from the talk show, we have viewers that are already resonating with some of the chapters that we are already talking about. We've only mentioned two so far. So for the plus size individuals, this is an opportunity for them to be able to see that, what, there is hope, that you're not alone. For the overthinkers, we have a chapter for them. So let's move right along on to, we're going to go back to Atlanta. We're going to go to Atlanta now. We're going to talk to Miss Aziza. Miss Aziza, I'm going to ask you the same question. What inspired you to, well, first, what made you decide to participate in the Empower Her Teen Authors Masterclass with Jessica Cares? What made you decide to take on this challenge? And then what is your particular chapter about, and what made you write about that chapter?
Okay, so originally my mom signed me up for it. I honestly didn't like know much about it. She was just like, "Hey, you're gonna do this thing." I was like, "All right."
I am.
So okay. So but after a few meetings, and we met and stuff at her like weekly classes and stuff. What encouraged me to like keep going with it and like moving forward with it is I also love writing. Like Alicia said, I want to be an author, and so I thought that it could be a good experience and practice for me for when I actually publish a whole book instead of just like the chapter that we each did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the chapter that I chose to write about is people pleasing, and it's
Mm.
something that I struggle with, not struggle, something that I am dealing with. And I know a lot of people who also deal with like people pleasing. And so I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to like learn more about it and write about it and just get like just I wanted to just learn more about it and write about it. I thought it
Mm-hmm.
would be an interesting and cool topic to just write about. Um and what was the other question? You
No,
said,
that was the question. That was
oh,
that
okay.
was it. You answered the question, and I think it's again another amazing topic. Something that not only teenagers deal with, but adults deal with, especially now in the world of social media. We're always like people. I mean, people pleasing has always been an issue, but with social media, it just took it to a whole nother level where we're trying to please people, people's perceptions of us. Sometimes change. We feel we have to change who we are in order to please people, and then coming to the realization at my age that you can't please everybody. So for
Yeah.
you to be able to write, this particular chapter, saying that we all do this, and I love the transparency. Like I'm hearing each and every one of you, just starting from Justina talking about, being a plus size woman, and the challenges that come with that, and not only seeing it in your life, but seeing it in your mom and your aunties and the women in your community. And then Alicia is the overthinker, and Aziza, you talking about the people pleasing. These are like some heavy hitter topics that people may not think that teenagers are even thinking about, much less writing about and articulating their thoughts and how they can help someone. So I am just so amazed at just the topics that you chose. And Jessica cares, we did not choose these topics for you. You chose the topics that you wanted to write about. So I want to share. We're getting some more comments in here. Um, so we have Dustin coming from LinkedIn saying, "Keep up the great work, awesome project. Thank you so much for supporting our girls." And we have Jalawiya. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Alhamdulillah, congratulations, V. So I take it this is someone who knows Aziza. And then we have Rakiba. She's saying, yeah. So everybody is just resonating with the things that you're saying. So I'm really excited to, continue this conversation. So I want to move it along to Juliana. So we're going back to Jersey now. So Juliana, asking you the same questions. What made you participate in this project? And what is your particular chapter about? And what inspired you to write about it?
Oh, hello. I decided to participate in this project because although writing, I haven't like really been interested in like publishing my book or writing. I find that like being a self-published author is honestly interested me, and I decided to do the project. My chapter is about avoidance slash restrictive food intake, which is also called
Mm,
anorexia nervosa. And
wow.
what made me decide to do this is because there's a lot of food disorders, and honestly, the anorexia nervosa, it interested me the most. I found it more interesting than the others
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of parts and there's a lot of ways people deal with it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's an amazing. I mean, we're talking about eating disorders. Like that's a taboo topic, and unfortunately, it is not something that people are not dealing with, and it's not just women. I've even heard of men having eating disorders, and anorexia being one of them. So the fact that you at your age 17 is talking about anorexia, eating disorders, and how someone can overcome, or telling a story, and your chapter is a little bit different, Juliana, because you actually wrote your chapter from a perspective of a character, someone who actually has it, and her journey with anorexia. So it wasn't like, hey, I'm talking about myself or my journey, but you're actually writing it from a third party, like someone else, that they can actually resonate with it. And I thought that was amazing that your chapter was a little bit different. You actually gave her a name and everything. So I'm really excited for people to read about that particular chapter. And if there's, specifically suffering with anorexia, but just any eating disorder, being able to see that some stories may not have a happy ending, some may have, when we're dealing with anorexia. So it's these are some real, wow, someone just took the words right out of my mouth, that these are profound topics, and it's absolutely true. So Angela just mentioned that. She says, subhanallah, so some of the viewers are Muslim, so they're using terms that we usually use, and she's saying glory be to God. Profound topics for our youth. We can learn so much from our youth. I absolutely agree, Angela. We can learn so much from our youth, and I think that's what makes this particular project so unique, because we don't typically see, first of all, teen authors working together, writing a culmination of topics that are typically not discussed, and they're shedding light to the topic in and of itself, and bringing some awareness, some visibility, and some tools, because some of our girls actually did their research, which was encouraged for them to be able to provide some sound advice and some encouragement and some empowerment through their chapters. So I'm so proud of our girls. So I want to go last but not least. I don't know if I can see Jessica, but I definitely want to give her the platform to be able to share her particular topic, because her topic was a serious one as well. So Jessica, if you're not muted, please, answer the same question, which is what made you participate in this program at 11? Because I don't know if someone asked me at 11 if I wanted to write a book. I'm not sure if I would have said yes. So at 11, what inspired you to participate in this project? What is your chapter about, and what made you write about that chapter?
My chapter is about suicide and suicidal thoughts and trying to prevent it. Because sometimes some people get overwhelmed and they just think that they could just kill themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's the thing about suicide and suicidal thoughts is you feel overwhelmed. And I think all of us at some point in our life, whether teenagers or adults, we've all had that feeling of being overwhelmed or feeling overwhelmed, whether it was, balancing school and your life and trying to maintain your grades or being disappointed as an adult, challenges and life taking its turns. We feel overwhelmed, and for some of us, it becomes a real thought of it would just be better if I wasn't here. So, what made you particularly write about that chapter at 11? Jessica, what made you write about that?
I wrote about it because some people at my school were thinking about killing themselves. Because once I saw some kid getting bullied at school, and one of them were my friends.
Wow. And that's amazing that you are talking about, people who are being bullied, because we have one of our co-authors was writing about it, Sadia. She was on our show last week talking about she's writing a chapter about bullying and the different aspects of bullying that some of us don't even realize that people are struggling with being bullied, and it's not your typical being bullied, and how this can, lead to something like this. So I want to ask you, what made you participate in this project at 11?
Uh, to help people.
Mm. To help people. Just as simple as that, right, Jessica? To help
Yeah,
people. So I think
yeah.
at any age, when we make that intention to want to help people, it means so much and it can do so much. And we shared this, in the class, in the weeks that we had it, that these topics and the things that you chose to write about are going to touch people that you're not even going to ever meet, from different countries, from different ethnicities, from different backgrounds. You're going to be able to touch them, because what I find as far as empowerment and some of the topics that you're talking about, it's a universal situation. It's not just women, men, race, or whatever. It doesn't matter what background you come from. You can be touched by some of the topics that you young ladies are mentioning. So I love the fact that you girls was brave enough and courageous enough to say, look, I may have experienced this myself, so I'm going to write about it. Or like what Jessica, you said, you saw other people, struggling with this, and you wanted to contribute to something positive. So I feel blessed to have worked with each of you, because I learned so much. People think that Jessica Cares is just pouring, but we get to take so much out of this. The volunteers, me as the founder, we learn so much from you young ladies, and I feel really blessed to have worked with you and see the growth from that. So, talking about growth, I mentioned, I heard some of you say, Alicia said it, Aziza said it, and I don't know if any of you have changed your mind, but do any of you have aspirations to write a book now on your own, like your own book, because of going through this journey?
Um,
Yeah, Justina?
I feel like I did have a great experience writing this book, but I don't think I would personally go write my own book. Like, there's good aspects of it, but then the downside of it is like sometimes you get writing block. So it's just like
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
rather not go through that again. And like, yeah, I would rather not go through that again. And just like, I don't think I'll do it again. But it was a good experience.
It was a good, and who knows? Maybe later on that might change for you, right? You might be like, I have a ball of things I have to write about, and you just start writing, right? So, yeah, amazing. Amazing. So yeah, and writer's block is a real thing. I've written two books, and in each one I've had writer's block for sure. And writer's block is not fun because you're like, is it gonna flow? Is it gonna come? So yeah, amazing. Yes. All right. So I'm gonna ask the two that was like, I love to write, Aziza and Alicia. So we'll start with Alicia. Alicia, do you have aspirations now going through this journey to write your own book?
Yes, I definitely do. I feel like I had them before, but this has definitely like been a very big motivator to do my own. Like outside of this project, I've always like
Hmm.
written in school. They ask you to write like short stories and things like that, and I've always like wanted to continue. Like with those short stories, they're like, oh, like only write like 3 pages, and you're like, man, I actually have so much more to say. So through this, I'm like, I'm really excited. I definitely, oh my gosh, I can agree with the writer's block. Um, but
Writer's block is real.
it is. It's a real thing, y'all. Like, I mean, it's crazy. But because you're like, how, like, you have so many thoughts and you're like, they just stop and you're like, all right, what's going on?
Right.
But I honestly, I've actually kind of enjoyed that process of like when that happens, like being able to step away from my
Hmm.
space and and taking time outside of that too. So
Yeah.
yes, but yes, I'm definitely very interested in writing my own book. I also write poetry, so inshallah one day I want to write a poetry book and publish that and things like that. So yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm here for it. So I'll definitely be looking to read your book. I was just getting ready to ask Aziza. Hopefully, she's going to come back. Maybe she's having some technical issues. She'll be back on. But Justina or Jessica, being that you haven't mentioned it, but with participating in this journey of co-authoring a book and the whole process from design to picking the chapter title, the whole process of writing a book. Do any of you have aspirations to write your own book?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Hold on one second. I was asking Jessica and Justina. I mean, not Jessica and Justina. Jessica and Juliana, if they had any aspirations to write a book, being that they've gone through this process.
Um, Throughout this project, I had to learn and do as I went along, but at the end, I'm glad I went through this process. So, yes, yeah,
So you think at some point you may want to write your own book?
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. What about you, Jessica? And it's okay to say no. Justina put that out there. She's like, nah, I don't think so. Would you
No,
want to write a book again? Your own book?
no.
She was like, simple no, no, I don't want to do that. I love Justina. I mean, Jessica. She's just straight to the point. Wonderful. So, Aziza, what about you? Because you mentioned, when you were introducing yourself, that you love to write, like Alicia. So, do you have aspirations going through this process that you may want to write a book, your own book?
Yeah, I still do think I want to write my own book. I still do think I want to write my own book. I don't know like what about or when. I don't know any of that information, but I still
Hmm.
feel like I would have that desire to write my own book that's just mine and mine alone.
Yeah, yeah. So, I want to ask all of you here, what was that experience like co-authoring a book? The whole process of, as I mentioned before, book design, the book title, the color theme for the book, and, working with the graphic designer and making revisions, that whole process of, coming up with a book and you girls, having to decide together the photo shoot, the promoting of it. Like, what was the journey? What was that journey like for each of you? And, what did you take away from it?
I'll go
Okay,
first.
Alicia, and then Justina.
I would say it was all very exciting. I feel like I'm gonna keep mentioning this as much as I can, but not being by myself in this process, like it just brings so much more confidence, and you can feel the
Mm,
support. Some of the girls I had never met before until we met up for the photo shoot, like at least in person, right? And it was good to put like a name and a face to a body, and like actually like be with these people and talk with them and have discussions, because we all more or less have the same goal, right? Trying to
Mhm.
spread awareness to whatever specific topic we were writing about.
Right.
So it was very exciting, because a lot of new things that we've never done before, a lot of new things that I didn't even think about when I thought about publishing my own book one day, right? So
Yeah.
very exciting. And yeah, it was just, I feel like it's such a good experience. And the co-authoring part, when I heard about that specific, like, oh, like that's like what we're doing. Honestly, I was like, how is this gonna go? Like, how are we gonna make
How's
this
that
work?
work?
Right? Because I've written poetry, and I've written books with other people before,
Mhm.
but never like this. We're writing a book
Mhm.
together, so there's that sense of togetherness, and in that way. But we're each doing our own chapter and our own topic, and
Yeah.
it's like the individuality and individualism of each person.
Yeah.
Like, we each get our own time to really shine and do our own thing. And I thought it was very interesting. So I was like really confused at first. I was like, how are we going to do this? But I feel like I loved how it all came together, how it's coming together.
Yeah. It's what came to my mind was being that I'm a motivational speaker, I'm always reading. I love to read. So I've seen like the Les Browns and the Tony Robbins, and they've come together and they've co-authored books. And I'm like, well, that's empowering because you do, like you said, the individual, aspect of co-authoring. You're still getting an aspect of that individual author and what they bring to the table and their perspective. And it's like having all of that in one book is like amazing. I've purchased co-authored books and I shared it at the photo shoot, the different, books with the co-authors and everything and the ideas. And it's just an amazing way to be able to work together as a community to share with the community, right? So I love that. And then we're gonna go to you, Justina. We have a comment from Angela. She said, what a journey for each of them. This discussion adds even more depth to this project. We have benefited greatly as a community already. Yes, I would agree, Angela. I would definitely agree. And we have more of how you can support our girls that we're going to be sharing at the close of this discussion. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, girls, what did we say? Some of you may never meet Angela, but look at what Angela's, impact has been from you, sharing and being, transparent, authentic about your thoughts, using your voice for something positive, and it's already impacting individuals. So thank you so much for sharing that, Angela. So back to you, Justina. What was that like co-authoring a book?
Um, I'm the type of classmate that loves to do group work. So it was just like, okay, so this is my thing. And then I experienced this with my best friend, Zakaya. She was here last week, but I'm
Yes.
benefiting it with her, and we're just when we write, we're talking about what we're writing. We're helping each other. Maybe you should put this. We should put that. The book title. That Zoom meeting was the best because everybody was
But
just
wasn't
filling in
it?
their ones and twos, and it was just a nice everything. The photo shoot,
Mhm.
the colors. Like, I'm just excited.
I love the transition that we went through with that book cover. We went from all different kind of colors to it looking like the galaxy. We was like, this is not working. So changing it and seeing all of the revisions, I was like, this graphic designer's gonna get sick of us. But we were like, no, we're gonna choose what we want. And again, as teenagers, you used your voice and was like, this is not working for us. This is not the vision we have. We got to get back to our vision. And eventually it came out, what you were looking for. So I love the fact that you girls used your voice, you were honest, and you shared your opinions. Some of you differed in opinions, but it was all respectful throughout the entire journey. So I did love that aspect of it. Jessica, Juliana, and Aziza, any comments about your journey in this co-authoring and how did it impact you? Anyone want to share?
Miss Asia,
Yes, I can hear you.
could you repeat the question? You cut out.
Okay, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So I was asking, like, what has been the impact for you, co-authoring, being part of the decision making from the photo shoot to the book cover to the title of the book? How was that, what was that journey like for you?
It was a very exciting journey. I'm not really one to like. I don't really love doing group work, but I've known some of the girls for a long time, so working with them was really exciting and fun. I really liked the photo shoot, and my favorite part was coming up with the title of the book. It was everyone was just pitching in their ideas, and we eventually created one that suited best for us.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. That I think that I agree with Justina and Jessica. Like that was like probably I think one of the best where you could actually see. I think that's when it hit y'all. Like we're actually writing a book. This is the book title. This is what's coming out. This is what people are going to remember us by. You know, one of the things that I'm going to be remembered by. And you wanted to give it your all. And we picked from like we everyone gave a title and we picked from different titles and put it together and it was an amazing and at the end everyone was like yeah that sounds great so I really I would have to agree that was one of the best sessions. Anyone else want to share, Aziza or Jessica? And if you don't, it's okay, but if you do, we'd love to hear from you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Um. Oh, right. Oh, sorry. So my journey, it was interesting, not in a bad way, but it was just interesting because it took like a lot of dedication, like waking up for our meetings because we had early ones. And I'm not a early riser for real. I'm not really an early riser. So waking up and engaging with you and not just sitting there not talking at all. So I would say it took a lot of dedication and uh what's the word I'm looking for where you push through something consistently. Uh, uh
Perseverance.
yes, that word. Yeah, so it took a lot of dedication and perseverance.
Yeah, it did. It did. You girls came each and every week on a Saturday, your day off, and you came to work together to get this, get this book published. We're in the editing phase of it now. So, we have some great announcements that we're making at the end of this talk show about, your book signing and everything, just the culmination, the reward of all of your hard work. For those of you who have tuned in, if you look on the bottom, it also shows where you can pre-order their book. So it is PayPal. Well, let me wait to the PayPal.me/Jessica Cares and 24.99. That includes shipping and handling. So that includes shipping and handling for the book for you to be able to receive a copy or come to the book signing and be able to get it autographed from all of the authors here, which would be amazing. So we have some additional comments on here I definitely want to share. Philip is coming from, I think it's New Jersey. He says, awesome to see this project unfold. Cannot wait to see these co-authors evolve throughout their lives. Looking forward to reading my copy. Look at that. Looking to read his copy. Now, again, you girls made a conscious decision to say this book was not just going to be written for teens. You wanted anyone who can benefit. And look at it. We have adults on here saying, look, I want to get my copy. So amazing work, young ladies. And we have a proud mom here who's writing to her daughter. Felicity, Felicitaciones. Congratulations to all of you for doing this project. Special shout out to you, Alicia Felola. I'm proud of you, mi reina. So we know that's mom. Te amo, alhamdulillah. So we have a proud mom here, and I would be too. I mean, I feel like I'm a surrogate mom, and I'm so proud of all of you for participating in this program. So I do want to ask you another question here. Um, what do you want readers to take away from your book? If it's not just your chapter, what do you want? So I'm just going to go down the line and just ask each of you. So we're going to start with Justina. What do you want readers to take away from this book, from this special project?
I want readers to come in with their mindset and then leave with a evolved, more aware, more like I just want them to leave with a good, better than ever mindset because this book I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it touches a lot of topics and it's gonna make you gain a lot of knowledge about different topics.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of insight, right? And I think insight is empowering. It's one thing, part of empowerment, and I always share this, part of empowerment is yes, evolving yourself first, but then not hoarding all that goodness. It's paying it forward and giving to other people, sharing your knowledge, sharing what you're learning so other people can be empowered. To me, that's the epitome of empowerment is that other people can be inspired and motivated by you sharing what you've learned and your growth and and that's part of being transparent, right? I think a lot of times, especially with people pleasing, and that's Aziza's chapter, a lot of us are not transparent. We don't share our struggles. We only want to share the good stuff, but we don't share the journey that got us there. And that's what makes us relatable. That's what's empowering. So I love the fact that you young ladies have been so transparent on your journey here. So thank you for sharing that. I love that, Justina. What about you, Alicia?
I definitely agree with Justina. I feel like, coming into the book with such an open mindset, I feel like that's the first thing, and just giving us a chance almost, right? Like, you know, if you've bought the book already, you supporting young teens, like that's already such a big thing for us. But
Mm-hmm.
taking the time to take our words very seriously. I know you guys already shown a lot of support, but you know, um, like I said, come in with an open mindset. And I mentioned this in my chapter, but to sit and really think and annotate and take apart, our words and really sit with them. You don't have to rush through the book, or you can, because we have so many because we have so many different topics. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
read the book straight through, right, and go through each topic, exactly how it's in order. Um, so to really, go to the chapter that maybe resonates with you more, or something that you never
Mm-hmm.
think you'd ever read about, and go to that one
Right.
and sit with it. So just keeping an open mindset and taking all that you've read, and like
Mm-hmm.
Sister Asia said, to take that and then share it or sit with it and
Yeah.
do something with it, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
just read it.
That yes, I love it. I love that. And it's so true. And you young ladies wrote about so much. It's deep. So you may read a chapter like I gotta sit with this for a minute before I move to the next chapter. And I've had books like that where I'm like, oh, I gotta sit for a minute before I move forward because it's so much to take in. And you're thinking I love self-help books. I'm all about, how can I evolve and be better. So I'm always reading on books like that. And sometimes I do. I have to put the chapter down for a minute and go, like, let me really take this in. And how am I going to implement this now that I've learned this new thing and it's making me better? How is this going to look in my life? So I love the fact that you brought that out in your chapter. Amazing. So Juliana, what is it that you want people to take away from this book?
What I want people to take away from this book is that it's never too late and that you can
Mm.
always get help. You just have to find the right person.
Yeah, I love that. That first statement there, it's never too late. Sometimes people think, oh, well, I'm my age. I am who I am. I'm not happy with it, but I just am in this situation. And so I'm just going to be settled. Look at that coming from a 17-year-old saying, look, it's never too late. Doesn't matter what age or what you're going through. If you feel like there's something that needs to be changed, change it, do something about it. So thank you so much for saying that, Juliana. That sentence in and of itself is so empowering. Jessica, what do you want people to take away from this book? Jessica, can you hear us?
Yeah,
Yeah, what do you want people to take away from this book?
something that I want people to take away from this book is to think about how you're gonna act towards others because you don't know what they're gonna do next, and it might end up
Oh,
in you being in a bad situation or them either too.
amazing. I want you to say that one more time, but I want you to say it loud for the people in the back because I heard it and it was profound. I want you to say it loud, Jessica, because I don't even think you realize how powerful what you just said was. So if you could say that again just a little louder, would be amazing.
Something that I want people to take away from this book is to think about others before you say something to them, because it might end up in you being in a bad situation or them.
Amazing. Talking about just the human aspect of things. Think about what you're going to say to someone. Words are so powerful, and it could be in your particular chapter in particular. I mean, you're writing about suicide. It could be the death of someone. We've seen that in bullying. Words can create people to just not want to be here, or it could be the thing that motivates someone or inspires someone, make them want to, move forward and be a better person. So words, I did not think that I was gonna get like kind of emotional, but that statement that you just made, Jessica, is just so profound. Is what we say to people. Really think about what we're gonna say to people before we say things, because it could really change the trajectory of someone's life for the better or for the worse. So thank you so much for saying that, Jessica. And that's coming from an 11-year-old. So I just want you to understand that we all have something to contribute, no matter what our age is. We have some, we can all learn from one another. So thank you, Jessica, for sharing that. And last but definitely not least, Aziza, what do you want the readers and those that are listening, what do you want them to take away from this book?
Miss
Um,
Asiya.
I guess I would
Yes,
say I want.
Oh,
go ahead. And then we'll
Can,
get back to who
oh,
was, hold on one second. Is
okay.
it Juliana? Was that you?
yes. Unfortunately,
We
I
got to go
have
to work.
to. Yeah.
Yes, Juliana, she is a working young lady, 17. She has to go to work now. So you go do your thing, sweetie. Thank you so much for joining us today and being a part of the show. So I don't want you to be late for work. So do your thing.
Goodbye.
Hi,
Bye,
Juliana.
Juliana. Okay, so Aziza, what do you want people to take away from this book?
Um, I guess I want them to see it from a different perspective. Like if it's an older person, right, reading it, then it's like I'm a 16-year-old girl. So just trying to see from different people's perspective and
Hmm.
to know that it's not like an abnormal thing. It's
Yeah.
like a lot of it's we're all kind of like built the same way. Like a lot structured us to be just God structured us to just be, we have patterns, and so everyone is different.
Yeah.
We just all have like different stories. So everyone is kind of the same. We just have different stories. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, that's what I meant to
Yeah,
say.
I mean, I,
Um,
I agree with you 100%. I mean, this thing called life and this thing called being a human being, we have universal struggles that are so similar, although we come from different ethnicities, cultures, religion, genders. I mean, we still have universal struggles as human beings and life, right? And so, yeah, like you said, just being able to, you may not look like me, we may not share the same faith, we made it, but we all share a universal thing is we're trying to be the best version of ourselves in this life, right? We're trying to be the best that we can be. And sometimes life throws us some curves that you're just like, hold up, right? So yeah, I think that's amazing that you said, let's look at different perspectives. And we were just talking about that. Even if the age is different, yeah, I may be able to pour into contributing that's an aspect or perspective that you didn't think of, right? So wonderful. Oh my goodness, I have so enjoyed this conversation. So, ladies, for anyone that's wanting to come to the book signing, when is the book signing? What date?
September 1st, 2024.
September 1st. That's not a Saturday. That is a Sunday. So, woo-hoo! We got September 1st is the book signing. So you can actually come. It has been amazing talking to you virtually. But if you want to meet the authors, if you want to talk to them face to face, we're going to do a Q&A at the book signing that's going to be a little more in depth and it's going to be with all of the authors and all of the community supporting. So if you want to come out, why should people come to your book signing, girls?
You know what?
um,
Simplest way to put it. Come and support young teens. So come and support your community. Honestly, simple as that.
really
That's
sweet of them.
right. Come and support our girls. Absolutely. Come and support. I mean, it's really important. You girls have put in so much work. So if you want to come, you can actually RSVP by either pre-ordering your book because we have your pre-order book. We'll have your book ready for you at the book signing. So you can purchase your book. And you can also email us at jessica@jessicacares.org to RSVP saying that you are going to be attending and how many. So if you want to bring your daughter, your nieces, your nephews, anybody, it's not, although this is a girl led program, empowerment is, as you heard the girls, it's a universal thing that all of us can benefit from. So if you have nephews, if you have nieces, aunties, whoever, best friends, we want them to be at the book signing. So if you're not familiar with where the book signing is, you can follow us on on Facebook under Jessica Cares, or you can go on Instagram as well, and follow us at Jessica Cares One. We have the invite there, but for some of you who are not so much on social media, we are going to be having the book signing September 1st at the Table Spread Venues and Event located at 41 Mountain Boulevard on the second floor. It's in a huge event space, and it's in Warren, New Jersey. So if you want to support our girls, I will say it again. It is at the Table Spread Venue and Events located at 41 Mountain Boulevard in Warren, New Jersey on the second floor starting at 1 o'clock. That's when we're actually going to have, but you can start coming in around 12:30 to be seated. It is going to be an amazing event. The girls have picked the decor and the ambiance of that day. So I am looking forward to being there myself to see this. But I just want to share with you as um, the facilitator of this program. I've worked with several, and through the Jessica Cares program, we've had several self published authors. But I will say, by far, aside from my daughter self-publishing her book, this has been the most fulfilling authors masterclass that I've had since starting the masterclass, and that was years ago. This has been the most fulfilling, just to be able to hear your voices, for you to be brave enough to share your thoughts, for you to want to, just as simple as Jessica said, I just want to help someone, for you to be, to be able to be that platform for you young ladies to shine and showcase, your beautiful thoughts, your empowering thoughts, your journey, your transparency, your relatability, your community thoughts. I'm just so very proud. So I share with Alicia, I'm not your biological mom, but I am definitely your coach, your biggest cheerleader. And I mean, when I say proud of each and every one of you, I am so proud of each and every one of you for the work that you put in and co-contributed on this project. So I want to thank you for letting me be a part of this journey with you. We have a final thought here from Carol. Carol says, this is so great that they are realizing what's happened to themselves and recognizing their feeling and not ignoring it. It's the beginning of hope for their lives. God bless you all. Proud of you, Alicia. So that was someone who knows Alicia. She is proud of each and every one of you. Thank you, Carol, for sharing those final thoughts. And so, again, if you want to pre order your book, the book is called Overcoming Letters to a Struggling Soul. www.paypal.me/Jessica Care 24.99, which includes shipping and handling for the book. This is going to be continue to be on YouTube, LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. So if you want to go back and listen to the replay, it's going to be here for you to be able to do that. And please come out and support our girls. Thank you for tuning in to this amazing episode of Conversations with Asiya. Stay tuned for more announcements on the book signing. And again, if you have any questions, or if you have any, you want to RSVP for the event, please contact me at jessica@jessicacares.org for you to be able to RSVP and let us know how many, because we will have refreshments at this event. We want to make this an amazing, amazing memory for us all. So again, thank you for those who have tuned in and continuously support Conversations with Asiya, and for supporting our girls. Thank you for tuning in today, and I wish everyone an amazing and impactful day. I'll see you all on the next Conversation with Asiya episode. Talk to you soon.